about our friend Kelly Gannon. Now, Kelly and I have met not in the music industry, but in the arts industry. So Kelly is also a caricature artist, cartoonist like myself, but he also plays, he's been a drummer for a long, long time. We connected through a company called ISCA, International Society of Caricature Artists, and hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. He's been really instrumental in sending some people our way. Mark Dawson came through that, Greg Potter, a whole bunch came through that way. So that's one of the things that we've got going on there, and we did a little interview with him. It's a radio style, so let's check this out. We've got a little Kelly Gannon talking about his life in music.
I'm supposed to be in there, like we're in a lockdown right now in Alberta, but I don't know if you've heard of Stephen Bishop.
I've heard the name, yeah.
He did that song On and On. Down in Jamaica, they got lots of pretty...
Yeah,
anyway,
that's
so the one guy that I do CDs, he owns the studio, and I got lucky because I have a friend that owns a studio, so I get to do some of his CDs, right? But I use the rolling kit there, and he writes songs, just demos for Stephen Bishop, and I'm supposed to go in Friday, hopefully the lockdown was down, and do some drumming. He just tells me what he wants, and then that gets shipped to wherever Stephen Bishop lives in the States. Okay. And that's only a demo just to hear how it sounds.
Okay. But that's Jolene, Cindy, and Len. So they played that. So Kelly is the drummer on that one. He's playing some drums. He plays with a band called Trio Avenue. He's out in Alberta. He plays with a band that Trio Avenue. They go around. They play all kinds of different melodies and different stuff going on. So he doesn't actually have a lot of his own music. He doesn't have any of his own music out. He plays covers, but he is very talented at what he does. And because he's a good friend, and because he's also a talented artist, and has connected us with so many great people like Mark Dawson, Rich Redman, Greg Potter, a number of others, we've put him in as an artist, as one of our artists, although we usually look for people who have their own music. We're going to continue with that conversation with Mr. Kelly Gannon in the studio. His own, he does a couple concerts a year in Toronto for Torontonians, and he's almost at that. The next step would be the big names, I guess. But he seems to do really well. He's always busy, always booked. Kind of like us, right? So we're just not always busy, always booked. I'm always busy and always booked when there's something going on. I'm sure he's going through the same. He's doing a lot of lives.
Oh, I'm sure he would be going. But nowadays musicians, I did, like I said, I did 2 CDs recently, and they hired you said this guy's a violin player?
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, the last CD I did, and I'm still working on it right now, they just have to mix it down. They used a violin player that used to tour with Mel Tillis, Pam Tillis. Okay. He works with Marty Stewart. But the point being, I've never met the guy, but he's on the CD with me, and they have studios now in their home, all these musicians. Yeah. And the producers, if they know them, they're going to produce a good quality product. Yeah. They just simply send the WAV file to them, or whatever file, of what we've done in his studio, and they simply put their parts on, and then they send it back. So nowadays, your friend there could probably do work like that just right out of his house.
I'm sure he does.
It's not as big a money, obviously, but he can still do it. Yeah. And like I said, I've never met this guy that's on this last CD I did, but when I hear him, I'm wow, this is. And then I looked up his name is Bruce Hoffman. Yeah. You can look him up, and you can see, he used to be a steady guy at Branson, Missouri. He's played with all the big guys down there. Yeah. But yet he just did it out of his house.
Yeah, it's like that's the way of the music today. So that's a little bit of our interview with Kelly Gannon. If you want to hear the whole interview, head over to In the Studio and check that out. Here's one by Mark